Welcome to the first of a four-part series on successful and failed assassination attempts in US history. Today, we're taking you back to the 19th century, a time of great turbulence and change. We'll look at the harrowing stories of presidents who faced deadly threats, uncovering the motives behind these attempts and the profound impact they had on our nation. Our journey begins with an incident that occurred. In 1835, Andrew Jackson faced the first recorded assassination attempt on a sitting US president. Richard Lawrence, an unemployed house painter, approached Jackson with two pistols. Miraculously, both guns misfired. Jackson, never one to back down, charged at Lawrence with his cane. This event showcased Jackson's fiery spirit and left the public both shocked and amazed. Let's delve deeper into the background of this dramatic encounter. Andrew Jackson, known as Old Hickory, was a president who inspired both fierce loyalty and intense opposition. His tenure was marked by significant controversies, including the dismantling of the Second Bank of the United States and the implementation of the Indian Removal Act, which led to the tragic Trail of Tears. Richard Lawrence, the would-be assassin, was believed to suffer from delusions and mental illness. He claimed to be the rightful King of England and blamed Jackson for his financial troubles. On that fateful day, as Jackson left a funeral at the Capitol, Lawrence stepped forward and fired his first pistol. When it misfired, he pulled out a second pistol, which also failed. Jackson, at the age of 67, charged at Lawrence, attacking him with his cane until others intervened. This remarkable incident underscored Jackson's indomitable spirit and the perils of leadership in a divided nation. The failed assassination attempt only bolstered Jackson's popularity, reinforcing his image as a resilient and fearless leader. However, the dangers faced by US presidents did not end with Jackson. As the nation continued to grow and evolve, the political landscape became even more tumultuous. On April 14, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater. This tragic event marked the first successful assassination of a US president, plunging the nation into mourning. Booth, a well-known actor and Confederate sympathizer, believed he was avenging the South's defeat in the Civil War. To understand the gravity of Lincoln's assassination, we must consider the context of the time. The Civil War had just ended, and the nation was beginning the difficult process of Reconstruction. Lincoln's leadership had been instrumental in preserving the Union and abolishing slavery, and his loss was a devastating blow to a country in desperate need of healing. John Wilkes Booth, who harbored deep-seated animosity towards Lincoln and his policies, meticulously planned the assassination. He gathered a group of co-conspirators with the intention of not only killing Lincoln, but also targeting Vice President Andrew Johnson and Secretary of State William Seward, aiming to throw the government into disarray. On the night of the assassination, Lincoln was attending a performance of Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater. Booth, familiar with the layout of the theater, gained access to the president's box and shot Lincoln in the head. After the attack, Booth leapt to the stage, famously shouting, "Sic semper tyrannis," meaning "thus always to tyrants." Lincoln succumbed to his injuries the following morning, and his death sent shockwaves across the nation. The hunt for Booth and his accomplices became a national priority, and Booth was eventually cornered and killed 12 days later. The assassination of Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most pivotal and tragic moments in American history, symbolizing the intense divisions and challenges of the era. Just 16 years later, the nation would face another assassination. President James Garfield was shot by Charles Guiteau on July 2, 1881, at a train station in Washington, D.C. Garfield succumbed to his injuries 11 weeks later, making him the second U.S. president to be assassinated. Guiteau, a disgruntled office seeker, believed he was acting on divine inspiration. James Garfield, a Civil War hero and former congressman, had only been in office for a few months when he was attacked. His presidency was marked by efforts to reform the civil service system, which had been plagued by corruption and patronage. Charles Guiteau, the assassin, was a failed lawyer and preacher who believed he deserved a government appointment for his support of Garfield's campaign. When his demands were ignored, Guiteau became convinced that it was his divine mission to remove Garfield from office. On the morning of July the 2nd, Garfield was preparing to leave for a summer vacation when Guiteau approached him at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad station. Guiteau fired 2 shots, one grazing Garfield's arm and the other lodging in his back. The president was taken to the White House, where doctors attempted to treat his injuries. Unfortunately, the medical care Garfield received was inadequate and likely contributed to his death. The lack of sterilization and the probing of his wounds with unwashed hands led to severe infections. Garfield's death on September 19, 1881, highlighted the need for medical advancements and spurred changes in the treatment of presidential security. Guiteau was tried and convicted of murder, and he was executed by hanging the following year. The assassination of James Garfield underscored the volatility of American politics in the late 19th century and the vulnerabilities of its leaders. These assassination attempts and the tragic losses of Presidents Lincoln and Garfield highlight the turbulence and dangers faced by leaders in the 19th century. Each event not only reflected the intense political and social conflicts of the time, but also left a profound impact on the nation. Andrew Jackson's survival and fierce response to his attacker demonstrated his unyielding character and the volatile political climate of the era. The assassination of Abraham Lincoln, occurring just as the nation sought to heal from civil war, plunged the country into deeper sorrow and underscored the deep divisions that still existed. James Garfield's untimely death brought to light the pressing need for advancements in medical care and reforms in political practices. These stories remind us of the human vulnerabilities behind the office of the presidency and the significant impact these leaders had on shaping the nation's history. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll dive into the assassination attempts of the early 20th century, exploring the challenges and threats faced by presidents in a rapidly changing world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get notified of our latest updates. Your support helps us bring you more interesting and informative videos. See you next time.